Okay, it is time. It is time for another edition of Always Into Something. And I am here live in Henderson, Nevada, coming to you from the Leo Pope Studios. This is MMB, and I'm also here with
Ahmad from Inglewood, California. Real major, baby. We back. How you been, man? How you been?
Hey, man, I've been doing my thing. It's been crazy, man. I haven't been able to sleep, but you know, I'm still trying to. What's up?
You too? I thought I was the only one.
Nah, man. It's just been trying to get a good sleep schedule is crazy right now. I went to bed at like 11. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna sleep good tonight because I usually will just be up. I was like, okay, I was tired. I got into bed and I woke up. I was like, oh man, cool. I got a good night's sleep. I looked at the clock. It was 1:30. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I was up. I was ready to go. I was like, okay, what can I do? There's nothing you could do at 1:30. There's nothing you can do, period. But I don't even want to get into all that right now. We kind of talked about that enough. So it was just it's just that things will eventually kind of get back to normalcy here soon. So it's cool. I'll deal with this for a little bit. But man, I know we'd kind of talked a little bit before we started, and I had got a chance to watch the show, The Last Dance. I mean, we're kind of just jumping into it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Last Dance. Anything like that's sports related, you know, everybody's jumping on it because that's just been a topic of pretty much all over ESPN. It's like, oh, you know, anything.
Everybody's
starved. Yeah, it was starved for it. You know what I mean? And I was just like, and I'm not even a Bulls fan. I'm a Lakers fan. I mean, you know that. But I was like, okay, let me check it out. And I was fascinated by it. I watched. They released 2 episodes. I think it's going to be a 10-part series. And I watched both of them. But we'll just talk about the first one, and then we'll just jump into it. Like, what did you think about it?
I mean, like, I loved it, man, because, like, in that era, like, I mean, I've always been a big basketball fan. In that era, of course, you know, Michael Jordan was reigning supreme. He was pretty much, like, everybody's sort of majority favorite. So they had already, you know, proven themselves to be one of the greatest teams in the league. So everybody was already interested in just watching them. So, of course, we know there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes in all sports world that a lot of people never get to see. So who knows what this is going to be the beginning of? There might be a lot of documents coming out with teams from different eras and different leagues, from different, things they accomplished in the past with that behind the scene look. So I was very, you know, fascinated to see what they was going to show. I wanted to see the behind the scenes things and things that went on. I mean, we talking almost 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, I still wanted to see, like, you know, basically what they were doing and what was going on behind the scenes, especially when Dennis Rodman got on the team and, you know, Pippen and then everybody last season. And whenever a team is going through something like that, there's always going to be controversy. There's always going to be people disagreeing. It's a lot of everything is so tedious because everyone has pressure on them to play their role perfectly. Because if one person can screw up the whole season.
Yeah, you know, I was just intrigued by they had the wherewithal to record it. I mean, it was like unprecedented access to the team. Like, and you talk about a figure like Michael Jordan, who's arguably one of the best players in the world. That, you know, I mean, and it started off basically just going into all of that. He was coming off of his 5th championship, and they're going into this season, and this is pretty much the last dance because this is the last time they're going to all be together for whatever reason. Right. The management decided that he didn't want the coach, so there was the last time they're going to be together.
Parting ways with Phil Jackson,
which
and they basically, you know, made a statement saying, hey, you guys can win 82 games this year, no matter how great you do. This is Phil's last year. I mean, so it was, you know, feelings about that. So a lot of people knew that was going to be, you know, their last dance.
And that to me is ridiculous, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, that's always been the motto. And if you take a team, and if you took a team from obscurity and you brought it to prominence with 5 championships, 3 in a row, and then you take a year and a half off, or it was two seasons, and then you come back, and I know the most important piece to that was Michael Jordan, because he left. But when they came back and they rattled off 2 in a row, and then you're going to tell them, I don't care what you think. We're going to go in a different direction after this season, so it doesn't matter. That's asinine.
Yeah, I think that can be attributed to a few different things. I mean, you could say that, because I don't know, I can't confirm any of this, but I've heard, stories. Obviously, egos come into play. People feel like they made enough money. People feel like I like the chemistry here, but I don't like. I like that we're winning here, but I don't like the chemistry here. It's just like, working for a Fortune 500 company or a successful business. The chemistry in that building, is probably a lot, more stressful and strenuous than what people on the outside are seeing. People on the outside are like, hey, you guys are doing well. You guys have been, reaching all your goals. And we're on the outside looking in, but on the inside looking out. In order to keep that ship afloat, who knows what it took. So the powers that be could just say, you know what, we're tired of dealing with this. We win championships. Now we want to do it the way we want to do it. We want to sever those relationships. And then I've also heard that having a team win like 4 or more championships is just not good for TV ratings. People just get tired of seeing the same team win. I mean, think about the last time somebody's really won 4 in a row. That this probably hasn't been done since maybe like the Bill Russell era. Like they just eliminated that, because it's like I said, like it's like when the Golden State Warriors are winning. People got people and Tom Brady and all these other great franchises. A lot of people will get bored and tired, and they want to see somebody else win. So I think it's the nature of the TV and the nature of the ratings and the fans. So it could be a melting pot for a bunch of different reasons that they did that they made that decision. I can't really say what's true and what's not, but that's just some of the things I've heard.
It's something to do with, it is a lot of things that we're not privy to, and we don't understand, and we don't know. But I think when you have a winning formula, you have people that come in and then make it, and it's working, and and certain things, and it's successful. Certain people start thinking that they're worth more, and rightfully so. They could be. It could be like, okay, well, I deserve to be more, or I can do this on my own. And people, I start to get in people's heads, so the general manager, maybe they were like, it was too much given to Phil Jackson about what his role was. Like it was too much on him, and it wasn't enough of the praise or the adulation for, I think his name was Jerry Krause, the general manager. I think he was a little bit jealous, and jealousy does play a role, because we are humans, and that is unfortunately a part of a lot of things that goes wrong with things, because people get jealous and they start acting accordingly, and they start wanting more of that adulation, and they want they want to get more credit for
egos.
And I mean, it's a grown man, and it is a business. I'm talking about a lot of money. Now, as far as the people wanting to get tired of seeing certain teams and stuff like that. Really, that is attributed to poor management, and or it can go in both ways. So you got a star like Michael Jordan. Of course, you want your top star to be in the final game, because that's going to equal ratings. Right. Now, yes. If you see your top star, like we just saw that with LeBron James. LeBron James went to the NBA Finals, I think, 9 times in a row.
Right.
And people were tired of seeing LeBron James go to the finals. And it was just like, okay, but for the NBA standpoint, that's money, because they want to either see him win or they want to see him lose. So either it's a win-win for them.
Yeah, because he's putting asses in seats.
Yeah, so then when you had the finals last year, they the Raptors won.
Actually, LeBron didn't go.
Yeah,
it was
the Raptors.
It was the Raptors versus the Warriors.
Yeah, so the last year with the Raptors and the Warriors, you're able to still write compelling storylines. You know, Kawhi Leonard and so on and so forth, and you know, Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Can they get it together and do it one more time? You can still write the stories. It's not about the people, but it's not about just the stars, because you still had stars in the game, but right. It's how you can spin it, and the NBA has been really good about doing that. The NFL, not so much. So if you had two teams that don't really have a good fan base or not in the top markets, the ratings suffer a little bit. Just a little bit, and now it's become more like, oh, who's going to be in your halftime show, and it's not the best. But the NBA has always been able to weave those stories, especially the last 20 years. They've been able to tell some pretty decent stories about, even if it's not a top market team like a New York or LA or a Boston, you can still get some kind of good enjoyment out of the game. You know what I mean?
I know you didn't say New York.
Yeah, because New York is a big market. The teams,
it's a big market. They just haven't done anything in I don't know how long, man. Yeah. I don't think they probably since the 70s. Who knows? It's a big market.
They had a run. They had a run with Ewing. They had a run with Ewing for a little bit. They got crushed, but they weren't able to break through that Jordan bubble, and then they got kind of spanked with Olajuwon. But and it was Olajuwon. He went with the Magic. It was New York and then the Magic, I think. Anyway, so I mean it's going to be interesting to see, and I mean, depending on how you feel about it, we could just kind of talk about the episode as they come up, because I'm right now, like I said, I never was a big Michael Jordan fan, and I was always thought that Magic Johnson John's still my favorite player, but I have to give the respect, because you see what he was able to do, and the competitiveness that he has, and the will that to will himself to a point, to a level where you cannot deny him. And that's just something that just can't be taught. You know what I mean? What was that?
I said he was like an internal freak of nature, like not by his physique, not by his he wasn't a brute, but internally, like the dog that he had inside of him. You know, the old saying, it's not the size of the dog, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah.
You know, that makes him, and internally, like, he was just a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he had the attitude, like, he wasn't quitting, and he was in your face. He was vocal, which a lot of these, team captains and players, they don't talk as much. They're not as vocal. He was an on-the-floor coach. It was much more than his abilities, to put the ball in the hole, or it was much more than those abilities that made him who he was.
Now, that would bring me to my next thing. It was, okay, so, Michael Jordan, can't deny his ability. Now, you're an NBA fan. Let me hear your top five, and then I'll tell you my top five, and then we'll discuss. Okay.
You talking all time or what era?
All time.
Oh man, that's always an argument. That's always argumentative.
It's subjective. It's definitely subjective, and it's your opinion, because mine is definitely not based off of. It's based off of the players that I was able to see, and you know what I mean, and that really resonated with me when I watched them, because you could break it down like, okay, top 5 point guards of all time, but this top 5 players.
We're not going to get all that, because that's a long
yeah.
But I'll give you my top 5.
Okay.
And mine is based on a lot of different things, which I'll get into. But overall, even with me, I struggle within myself because that number one spot for me is always a tug of war between Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan.
Okay.
That number one spot is always a tug of war because Kareem pretty much holds almost every record. A lot of them records haven't even been touched, and if you look at those numbers, it's ridiculous how far away a lot of these players are from touching them. And on top of that, Kareem didn't come straight out of high school. He played in college, so that means he played less years than a lot of these players played in the NBA. A lot of these players coming right out of high school, they have these longer runs in the NBA. Michael Jordan went to college, and then he retired like twice. So imagine if he would have came out of high school and never retired. Imagine how his numbers would look. Ridiculous. He holds records, and he wasn't even in the league as long as a lot of these cats, and they're still chasing his records. So that's why him and Kareem are like almost, in my opinion, they're almost like tied for number one. But I'm going to give it to Kareem just because Kareem just had an unstoppable hook shot. He was the highest, point scorer in all time. He broke a lot of Wilt's records. Like he was actually the one that really like started stopping Wilt. You know what I mean? So, Kareem, like he'll always be like one of my number one. I don't think they give him a lot of credit due to some personal things, but I'm going to go with Kareem for number one. I'm going to go with Michael at number 1.5. I can't even give him number two. But like, let's just say Michael number two. Number three, I'm going to go with Kobe. Because in my opinion, Kobe, like, to me, it was like watching another Mike.
Okay.
But Mike was so great because he had showed us things that we had never seen. And I think Kobe was just basically showing us Mike. Mike was like showing us stuff we had never even imagined. Like he was just amazing. Kobe was it was so many people that came after Mike that tried to emulate him. But the only person I would tip my hat to and give the crown to would be Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
Rest in peace.
I think that the approach he took to the game, his attitude, his seriousness, will be probably like why he was one of the greatest in my opinion. So I would give number three to Cole. I think number four, like which I also would say like is right behind Cole, like one of my favorite guys. You got to give it to the Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal was just a force you could not stop. You couldn't record. You couldn't. The only weakness he had was free throws. Other than that, no one could stop. You couldn't even slow Shaq down, and he wasn't. He was never really at full strength because everybody used to always say he played out of shape. So
and they used to beat him up too. They used to beat him up.
They used to beat Shaq up because they knew he couldn't shoot free throws.
Yeah.
But as far as his ability, I'm not going to even say probably. We've never seen a more dominant center. When he was on that court, it wasn't a point guard's game. You couldn't just walk in the hole and get a layup. You was going to get that thrown out of the fucking arena.
Yeah.
There was no in hell. You was going in there for a dunk and all that. It was like Shaq was like the end of an era as far as like it being a big man's league.
Okay.
Give that spot to Shaq.
Okay.
Man, that's a tough one, man. And this is where it gets tricky. There's so many players that come to mind, and I've never actually done one of these top fives, so now you got my mind going. and I hate to make a top five and put out names because there's so many. It's so argumentative. There's so many other players that deserve it. But this is just me personally. I'm not, I can't get mad at somebody else for having a different one. But for me, I think the number 5th spot. Who would I give that to? I gotta roll with Magic Johnson, bro. Magic Johnson to me was just he was like the only word I can think to describe his game was magic, straight up. Yeah. Because when he ran the court, the way he handled the ball, the way he was like, he just had so much swag. Like his swag on that court was unmatched. Like the way he walked that court, and in that era for him to be 6'9" and to handle that ball that good, I mean the no look passes. Like when Magic had the ball, I did not want to blink. I did not want to blink.
Yeah, like
he was so smooth. Like he was like silk. he was like still blowing in the wind when he ran through that court, and just the way he ran that floor, and the way he would get them assists, and he had a nice shot.
Yep.
And he had his own little style. Man, I don't think it would never be a point guard that good ever. For him to be that size and have that ability, I've seen some point guards that kind of remind me of Magic, or they have a little piece of their game to remind me. But obviously, no one is as good as Magic. Magic was just Magic. He was magical. I see how he got that name.
Exactly, man.
I'm gonna roll with that. That's gonna be my top 5 right there.
Okay, I mean, I can respect that. It is subjective, and it's based off of your opinion, and mine is going to differ. So, okay, I'll give you my top 5, and you know what? It is subject to change depending on how I feel, because I thought about it, and I thought about it when we discussed like possibly doing this. I was like, I didn't want to write nothing down. I was like, let me just kind of go in my mind, and I started thinking like, okay, who would it be? So I'm just gonna give it to you, and I'll give you my reasons. Okay, so now I'm gonna start with number 5. Man, number 5, I'm gonna go with Larry Bird.
Okay, legendary.
Larry Bird. You know, I remember when I started getting into basketball. It was in the mid to late 80s, and
okay.
That's when the Celtics and the Lakers were going back and forth, and you know the Pistons were in there a little bit too. But it was always about Magic and Bird, and to see some of what Bird was able to do was just, it was different, and it was different because, you know, one of the big reasons why is because the league was dominated by a whole bunch of black dudes. And Larry Bird came in there, and he was able to do some things, and people weren't able to stop him. And it was it was one of those things where you're looking at like, wow, because he wasn't that fast. He wasn't super athletic, and when I was really getting into basketball, he was already broken down. Like you would see him on the sideline laying down because his back was hurt. But I mean,
Larry had swag, man. He had swag.
He had swag. Yes.
He would be dropping them dimes and no look passes. Hey, Larry had swag for a white boy, man. That dude was good.
Yeah. Yes, he was. It was on point. So that's my number 5. Now, oh man, because I had a different, before we came on, I was like, okay, I had a different one. But number 4, I'm going to go with Kobe. I'm gonna go with Kobe.
Okay, all right.
Now,
let me hear why you got Kobe at number 4.
Okay, now I could not put him over Magic because Magic, to me, was and is the quintessential player. He redefined the position. A guy that big and that size. Now, anyway, we're talking about Kobe now. But Kobe was a rare player. Rare player. He had that mentality. But like you said, you saw it before with Jordan. Right? And the thing with Kobe was that Kobe went in straight from high school and was able to. He didn't start off dominating. He came off the bench for a little bit, and then he kind of picked it up, and he was a true student of the game and really willed himself. He had that Mamba mentality where the competitors that you just can't teach. And it's no disrespect to Kobe or anything. It's just like, I still think he's a great player, and he's still, he's right up there with Magic as the greatest Lakers of all time. That's 1A, 1B, whatever.
It's legendary, man.
You know what I mean? Because he played his whole career with that one team and was able to bring 5 championships just like Magic. and he did have supporting players. So but Kobe is.
We eat your heart out, man.
He was able to do things on the court, and he was able to will his team. And then I think what really solidified him was that he was able to come back, and after the whole Shaq thing, he was able to come back and win those two championships. The thing that made me mad, that they lost to the Celtics that one championship.
You're right. Yeah, I remember that. And everybody was putting that pressure on him because everybody was saying, "Can you do it without Shaq? Can you is it going to happen without Shaq?" Which I think is really unfortunate because no one could do it alone. There's never been anyone to do it alone.
Yeah, even Jordan said that in The Last Dance. Even Jordan said, he even said that I couldn't do it without Pippen. He said I couldn't do it without him. So
you can't.
And he was like that's my bet. That was the best teammate that I ever had.
All facts.
And but Kobe, the one knock that I had on Kobe was that he kind of got petulant when he was like, "Oh, I want to get traded" and all this stuff. And it's a business thing, and it was an emotional thing, and I was like, okay, but whatever. He did his thing. So let
me chime in on that for 1 second. The only thing I'm going to say is this: as far as Kobe wanting to leave, and as far as Kobe having business altercations and deals with the Lakers and the organization and wanting to leave, that's just what we heard, and I feel like played a major part in that. Now, had social media been around when it was the Michael Jordan era, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we probably would have heard a lot of things about people wanting to leave. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving Kobe a little credit.
No, I got you. No, definitely it was a different time, and it is even more so now.
Yeah.
But back then, because people want to see, they always want to kind of see the dirt, especially if your team is winning, and then it's not. They want to get in there and expose, and expose. This is what's going on. So I get it, and I understand it. It's not really a knock on them. It's just my personal, how I felt. You know what I mean? As a Laker fan.
Yeah, and I think Kobe felt like he wasn't getting any help. Every year the Lakers wasn't making the right trades or no trades, and he felt like he was busting his hump because everyone knew his work ethic. So he was literally busting his ass, and the Lakers wasn't rewarding him by making moves. They was either not making moves at all, or they was making trash moves. So he was basically saying, "Hey, I'm not about to keep carrying the team just for us to lose. Either you guys put some people in place, or I'm gonna go somewhere where they, respect my work ethic."
Yeah,
it worked.
Yeah,
it worked.
It did, and
you know where he was going, right?
Huh?
Where he was going to go, right?
What, to the Bulls?
To Chicago, yeah, sure was.
Yeah, garbage. Anyway, that's even worse. He should be number 5 now. But anyway, no.
Oh wow.
No, just kidding. So, all right. So number three, Magic Johnson.
Magical man.
Magic Johnson, for all the reasons that you said, and even more so, back in the day when I said I was getting into basketball late, and I had a person in my life who was at the time a big Laker fan, and he loved Magic Johnson, and his nickname was Magic, so he kind of brought me in, and we used to sit there and watch basketball, and it was cool. It was cool. He was a big brother to me and my sister, and I, and so that's kind of why it's tough to put him so low, because I want him to be at the top, but realistically, Magic Johnson, he played, and he unfortunately had to end his career early because of his illness that he got. But you can't deny on the court and when he played that he did not have that will to win either. And what he could do with the basketball. It was the Showtime Lakers because of Magic, because he was able to do.
And they haven't coined that name since.
No, it's Showtime Lakers when you had, and he had players with him. Of course, you talk about Kareem, and you had Byron Scott, you had AC Green, James Worthy. I don't know how I need to say his name first. Michael Cooper. Yeah, I remember Michael Cooper with the high socks.
Yeah, his defense.
You know what I mean? He was doing this thing. He was that stretch wingman that they needed on that defense. So that was good. That team, the Showtime Lakers. I mean, just my all-time favorite team. But Magic Johnson number 3. Okay. So then we get into the top 2, and the top 2. Is it is what it is, but I got to give credit where credit is due. My number 2 is Michael Jordan.
Jay, baby, let's go. Better have a hell of a number 1.
my number 2, Michael Jordan, and the only reason, because I really don't like Michael Jordan as a player. So I said I really don't like Michael Jordan as a player. So I respect his game, because who did he win his first championship against?
Oh, Magic Johnson.
There you go. There you go.
But let's be honest, like that was like later on in Magic's career. Not to say that he was declining or nothing, but that wasn't the peak. You know what I mean?
It was, it wasn't declining, and I mean, they had a lot of older, Kareem was coming down towards the end. I don't even think Kareem was playing at that point. I think I can't really. Maybe I'm wrong about that, because I think Vlade was the center.
I know Jordan came in the league around 84. And I'm not 100% sure when Magic. I think Magic came in around the same time, right?
No, Magic came in. Magic came in at 79.
Who? Magic came in at 79?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Magic came in the league, he won a championship his first year.
Yeah, that was the first year he won a championship, and he had to sub in at center because Kareem got hurt, and he had to play center.
I remember that.
Yeah, so he came in. I think Bird came in. I think he came in a year before, and because they were kind of going back and forth.
So Magic Johnson came in the league like at least 6 years before Jordan.
Yeah.
Do you remember what pick Magic was when he came in?
I do not.
His first overall pick.
Really?
From Michigan.
Michigan
State.
Jordan.
Jordan was the 3rd, right?
Oh yeah.
He came in behind Olajuwon and
Sam Bowie. Oh. Sam Bowie. The week. Well, okay, I can't say that. He got hurt. I'm not gonna diss him.
Okay, all right. So okay, all right. So that's been settled. He did come in at 79. Came in at first overall pick from Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State. So, all right. We got
Jordan number 2, baby.
That was Jordan number 2, and the number 1 is the same month you had, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Gotta give it up to the Cap.
You have to. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Unstoppable, man.
Unstoppable. And it's, I don't think Kareem gets the credit that is due to him because he, it was just the dominance that he had over the league. And we're talking about, now you want to talk about centers, and then Bill Russell might get the nod because Bill Russell was able to do some good things, but it was a different era too. They weren't skyscrapers in the league. Kareem was just head and shoulders above the rest, literally, because he was so big.
He had an unstoppable shot, and I don't understand why no one's ever mimicked it.
the closest the person to come to mimicking that shot or in having an unstoppable shot was, to me, Tim Duncan, because he had that bank shot that he can just hit like anywhere, boom, and it was.
Okay, I got another name. Got another name for a specific player who didn't play down low like Kareem. He played like on the wing, but I feel like he had a very unstoppable shot because of his form with the shot, and the referees let him get away with it. But because of his form, he had an unstoppable shot, and he played on the wing, and he was tall as hell, and his name was Dirk Nowitzki.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not lying.
Oh, at first I thought you was about to say Manute Bol, but
Get off. Manute was cool, he did his thing, but we can't put him up there that high. And he just was a big dude. Like he just didn't, like, he could have really, like, if he had more skill, he kind of reminded me of Taco Fall for the Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, it was after Kareem, they had a whole myriad of people that came in, like large dudes. Like you had the Sean Bradleys, George Mirasan.
I remember Shaq dunked on Sean Bradley. Oh my God.
Oh man, Kevin Johnson dunked on him too, and then,
oh my God, who gets dunked on by Kevin Johnson?
I mean, seriously, man. And I'm like, okay, so, but you're right. Dirk Nowitzki had a shot. Dirk Nowitzki had a shot on him that was unstoppable, and it was really
man.
Good. And it was.
And let me just say something. That year that he won the chip, that was a year LeBron was in Miami, and he was talking about winning 8 straight, right?
Oh yeah.
If you go,
I said, oh yeah.
You can fact check what I'm about to say. If you go back to that playoff run, I believe that the Dallas Mavericks that particular year and the entire playoff run, the entire run to the championship, I believe they probably lost maybe 3 at the most games. The entire run. They were almost perfect. If you look at his shooting percentage from the free throw line and from the field, when I say that was the closest to perfection I've probably seen anybody play, any team, their numbers were unbelievable. And they don't get no credit. They don't get, well, I ain't gonna say they don't get no credit, but they don't get that amount of credit. They believe that playoff run was phenomenal. My mind was like everybody else. No one's gonna beat Chris Bosh, LeBron, and D Wade. That's unimaginable. But when I seen the momentum that the Dallas was running with, in the earlier stages of the playoffs, the second round, that momentum was just amazing. I was like, dude, I don't know, man. These dudes look amazing. Like, they look amazing. Like, it was like Dirk could not miss. It
was a whole team effort, and the coaching that they did, that they had, and it just goes to show you that, three players can't be 5. And you know what I mean? And now one player can be 5, obviously, but it's just that you go in with a game plan and you execute, and things happen. And that's exactly what happened. They were able to execute, and they were able to knock them off. And that team, that team, they made themselves out to be not villains, but they were not really liked, especially LeBron, because Cleveland, they all wanted LeBron to lose, and they all just breathed. I know they celebrated when they lost, but that you're right, because I think that was with did Jason Kidd get that one too?
I was getting ready to say, I think Jason Kidd was on that team.
Yeah, Jason Kidd was on that team, and
and I don't want to insult anybody, but let me just say something. If anybody reminded me, and I'm not trying to say that he was just as good. I'm not trying to say I'm putting him on that level. But if anybody that was a point guard ever ran the floor that kind of gave me a tiny hint of Magic Johnson, it was Jason Kidd. The way Jason Kidd ran the floor, it kind of reminded me, and it gave me this Magic Johnson hint. Like the way he would just run the floor and the way he could see people without even looking. Like the way he would pass that ball, Jason Kidd was nice. It was nice, man. It was nice. I that closely, But man, Jason Kidd was, in my opinion, like he mimicked his game after Magic.
I think he did.
He wasn't Magic.
He wasn't, and he wasn't that. I mean, he wasn't that big because Magic could play. He could play all 5 positions.
Magic could see that floor because he was so tall.
Exactly, and that was the thing about Magic. That's what made him so unique. He was so big, and he could handle the ball, and he could play all 5 positions as he did in his rookie year. You know, he was able to come in and play center, and he's a guard. But you know, Jason Kidd, and all that. I mean, yeah, he was a good player, but those are our top 5s for the NBA right now. And
let's recap it. So let me go over mine. I got Kareem.
That's your number 1. Okay.
So Kareem's my number 1.
Okay.
I got Michael Jordan like right up under him. You know, I got Kobe Bryant right behind him.
Okay.
I got Shaq Diesel and I got Magic Johnson.
Okay. And I have Kareem, Michael, Magic, Kobe, and Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, your top 5 and my top 5, we could argue them all day. I could switch them around all day. Somebody might convince me otherwise, but the top 2, no one's gonna ever convince me to change that.
Yeah, the 3, yeah, the bottom 3, top 2. I don't really think there's an argument there because those two players, they transcended the games in their era, and they were able to do different things that weren't done before and really haven't been done since. You know, especially Kareem in that shot, because you just said nobody's ever done that shot again because nobody can. It
was so successful. You could not block it.
You know, and many people have tried to mimic Jordan, including the most successful person that was able to do it was the late great Kobe, but he was even able to do things differently and make it his own. You know what I mean? But you got to give it up to the people that came before. So that was a good thing, and I mean and then you start talking about.
I'm glad you said you have to give it up to the people that came before, because if you really listen to people when they talk and they give you their top 5, normally their top player is someone that they grew up watching. And for me and you, we didn't grow up watching Kareem.
No, at the tail end of his career, like when we start getting into it. Like I said, Larry Bird was broken down and Kareem was on his way out. So
exactly. So that made, like I said, most people that they give you their top 5. Normally their number 1 player is a guy that they grew up watching, and they got to see him during regular basic season games, and they got to see how great he was. That's why a lot of these millennials don't respect Michael Jordan, and they don't want to give him that top spot. Everybody's on LeBron and Kobe and all this other crap, because they didn't see what we saw with Jordan. We got to see him play on a Tuesday night on a regular game, and we got to see his greatness on a regular night. It wasn't always playoffs and highlights, and it wasn't always championships. We got to see him play on just a regular Monday, Tuesday night. That's what put us over the edge. So for us to say that our number 1 player is a guy we didn't even grow up watching, that just shows how good he was.
Exactly. Now, and that to me speaks volume. It's just like, okay, because to be honest with you, I almost was going to say Oscar Robertson, but I've never seen Oscar Robertson play, and it will just be all based off of what I heard about Oscar Robertson, and I can see highlights and stuff like that, but. You know, when you talk about sports, you're talking about the emotion that it causes you and how you felt at the time. Like you remember when Kobe hit that shot, boom, boom, boom. You remember when Kobe threw that lob to Shaq and he did that alley-oop dunk, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And you know that resonates with you. It's like, oh man, I can remember seeing Magic Johnson do that no look pass, like boom. And I remember,
and you saw it in real time. It wasn't like slow motion or a replay.
Yeah, we're talking about that kind of stuff, how you felt, and that's what causes a lot of people mistake it and this again, these are opinions. These are opinions based off of what two individuals think about their these players. There's not facts. There's no facts on who the best player is. There is none. I don't care what people say. It is, you know what I mean. You could put all the analytics aside and bring all of it into it, and it's still going to be somebody's going to have something to say. Just like there's no best player in any sport, because it's always going to be subjective. Like,
because there's different eras and different circumstances, and the rules change. And even when they asked Michael and Kobe, they even open their own mouths and said that's a discussion they don't like to have because it's something no one could ever prove. And like I just said, the rules change in different eras. You got different commissioners. Back in the day, they didn't even record assists until like the late 70s or early 80s. There was like certain stats they didn't even record. So, it's hard to because a lot of people base who's the greatest off of stats, but it was stats that they didn't even record until like the late 70s and 80s. A lot of the game changed. So, it's like you said, it's real subjective.
Yeah, exactly. Now the thing is we're talking about eras and things like that. So, it's always, we grew up, products of the 80s. And the 80s, you can get away with saying a lot of different things you couldn't get away with saying in the 70s, and so on and so forth. Now, there are at each generation, it's progressing, and it's moving to where you can say certain things and you can't do certain things, and I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, it seems like there is and I'm not trying to get too heavy into it, but just kind of a little food for thought. But the more politically correctness that's going on, the weaker the nation has become. I mean, just my opinion. But and I'll just go. This is something that came up not too long ago. Quick little digression. I am a huge wrestling nerd. Judge me for everyone. I don't give a shit. But so I'm going to tell this joke that was said earlier this year, right? Earlier this year, and I'm going to see how you feel about it. So now just picture give me a big tough big tough dude, not black.
A wrestling guy?
No, anybody. Just whoever you think. Somebody that's big and tough. That's not black.
Triple H?
Who?
Triple H?
Who?
Triple H.
No, not a wrestling guy.
Oh, okay. Just like a big tough guy?
Yeah, this is a big tough white dude that you think is,
Big tough white dude. That's not a wrestling guy.
Yeah, that's not a wrestling guy.
Let me think. I don't know. I can't think of nobody off my head. I would say the only person that comes to my head, he's not even a real character. I'm thinking like Dolph Lundgren when he was playing in Rocky or something like that.
Okay.
He's not even a real dude.
Okay, that's fine. Dolph Lundgren is a big dude. Dolph Lundgren's a big dude. He's not a and he played tough guy characters, like Ivan Drago, stuff like that, and Universal Soldiers.
Jean-Claude and all them, Jean-Claude and all them guys.
Yes. Okay. All right. So imagine, and Dolph Lundgren's a big dude. So Dolph Lundgren is so tough that he can drive a motor scooter through Ethiopia with a bucket of chicken strapped to his back and not get touched.
Wait, what? Wait. What? He can drive to Ethiopia with some chicken. What? Wait. What? He ain't that damn tough. I'm gonna tell you right now. He'll get his ass beat.
But see, that's the joke. That's the joke. right? So you laughing.
I don't know about that.
So you're laughing. Somebody got fired because of that joke.
Wait, I can believe it because it's not politically correct. Like what?
But it's a joke.
It's a joke, but depending on the platform you say it on, some people are not going to take it that way.
You know what I mean? But if you're talking okay, it's a joke. So now we're talking about, see, and I get it. And I told the joke to my mom, and she was like, yeah, that's funny. I get it. And I was like, do you think you should have been fired? She was like, no. Because, I get the joke. It's a joke. It's because we all know if some dude is running through it's like the motor scooter, some big white dude. You could imagine him like a tank top or shirtless, just rolling through. And you know what I mean? You better not touch my chicken. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny, but it's funny to us because we had that type of sense of humor. But if we did not want it to be funny, it wouldn't be funny. It's funny because we want it to be funny and we accept it and we understand the irony and all that in it, But if we didn't want it to be funny, especially with social media and people and their sensitivity, it wouldn't be funny, And then people could take it the wrong way, and it's just like when you tell a joke when you're a kid or whatever, you tell the joke in front of your mom and she turns that whole damn joke into a life lesson.
Yes.
And you're like, Mom, relax. You know what I mean? You're like, Mom, relax. It's just a joke. And she's like, no. If you know what I mean? She takes it so serious because she's your mom and she looks at it like that. Exactly. So I understand the humor in it.
Now, I
also understand how somebody could be, a little bit offended by it.
So now, who would you think would be outraged by a joke by that? Like what? Who? Okay, so, huh?
Bill Cosby. He always been sensitive about shit like that. Like Bill Cosby ain't having it.
But it's not even so. Okay, yeah, I can see that, but it's like one of those things where when is it too much? When is it too much to be able to tell a joke and people not be so offended by it to where they just can see the humor and just move on, and everything has to have some kind of subtext to it now. Everything has to have some kind of hitting meaning to it now. And it's not about that. It's just trying to entertain people. You're sitting there talking and you say a joke and it's like, okay, cool. And some people take it too far, and I get that and I understand where if you're sitting in a group of people and they just started to start saying all kind of all kind of just off color stuff, and you're sitting there like, what is going on? Like, I wasn't here. I didn't know this kind of party. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Somebody you go to somebody's house and they invite you to a party and they just bust out the cocaine and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is what's going on. But it's right. And how do you respond to it? Do you get on top of the table like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you're doing this? Blah, 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 blah. No, you quietly excuse yourself and say, I'm going to go to the bathroom or whatever, and just like, I got something to do, I got to go. Or you partake, whatever. I'm not judging you. It is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but you have to understand that you have to understand where you are, and then who you are, and what you stand for, and things like that. And not everybody feels that way. We are all individual people, just like we talked about the list. You have a different list than me. I have a different list than you. We don't have to start fighting over it. Okay, it's not worth all of that. It's not necessary. You know, we're not about to. But it's like, oh, you know, he think that you know, Magic is fifth. Oh my God, I can't talk to Ahmad no more. I hate him. You know what I mean? That's not going down. You know, or he has no right to anything that Ahmad says now is invalid because of that opinion. Oh my God, it's ridiculous nowadays.
You have people in the world that are very, very sensitive to certain topics, or some people that are just sensitive to all topics. You got people that have no sense of humor, that can't see the humor in things, and they only appreciate a certain kind of humor. You just have obviously different people in the world, different opinions. There always are going to be fans who are going to agree with you. There are always going to be your critics who are going to disagree with you, and they're going to find the fault in whatever you say. That's just the way the world is. It's like there's no way you can cater to one type, and there's definitely no way you can just expect everyone to agree on something. That's just the way the world is. So what we don't want to compromise is the beauty of comedy. We don't want to compromise, obviously, our amendment right, which is free speech. We want to be able to express ourselves, and social media has given people a platform where people feel like they can criticize you, obviously because they can hide behind their keyboard. You can never find them, so they can just type and say whatever they want to say, whatever, depending on whatever mood they're in at the time. People can always hear something you say, and then these celebrities, they got people that will go back 15 years and look at something they posted online and use it against them, as far as like they can't change their opinion. Like, I can't grow. Like, I can't, adapt. It's like I'm always supposed to be the same guy. Like, who I was 15 years ago is who I am today. So I feel like in society we put too much pressure on ourselves. I feel like people overanalyze. I feel like people are suffering from things. There's a lot of damage and hurt people that are out there that's never recovered fully from whatever traumas they may have went through, and as a result, they lash out. They lash out when it comes to certain things, and it's an underlying reason behind a lot of that.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's just pure stupidity.
Yes,
but there's a reason they're stupid. But I just feel like that's how I rationalize the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, everybody got their own different, thoughts behind it. But those are just my thoughts and how I rationalize it. So I try not to put, too much into it when I hear someone disagreeing with me. When someone tries to be argumentative or pull me into their their emotion.
And like
I try to back off.
And like we talked about last time, like I said, people nowadays are headline readers and just cover readers. They wanted to categorize you and put you in a certain category just based off of that one little thing that they read, not knowing that you go into the chapters and the person it's a person and they have different thoughts and it might evolve. You know what I mean? There are certain things that are said that might capture your interest, and then you learn more because if you deep dive, and it's not enough critical thinking that's going on. It's just like, oh, he just said that. This is who he is. This is what he's done. This is what he's about. I don't need to know anymore because I just said that one sentence. You are ready to just rake me over the coals or push me up as some kind of figure that's against all, and that's not the case. It was two things. Like, you just brought up a good point. Kevin Hart was going to be the host for the Oscars, and
was it Oscar?
The Oscars? Yeah, he was going to host the Oscars.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
And they found some homophobic tweets that he said, and
from ancient times.
From back in the time, and he admitted that they were in poor taste, and he did apologize, and people still weren't really willing to accept it. Once you apologize, and you
another apology,
and when you say that I was young and it was immature, whatever his reasoning for it, and once you get past that, when is it okay to let it go? Now, I've seen people that's have their, and I'm really not trying to compare this, but when is the forgiveness going to be? When is it going to be enough where, okay, he said these things, you've offended me somehow. Like you said, some people can't let things go. And it's because of their own, and they have every right to. If somebody kills a member of your family, you don't have a right to, you don't need to forgive them. And nobody's going to say you have to. It's just that's what you need to do. It's your process. You know what I mean? And I'm not comparing it to that, but it's kind of in that same vein. When are you going to be able to let it go and move forward? And let the person learn from their mistakes, that they admitted it was a mistake. It's not like he's just saying it just to be saying it. It was a heartfelt apology from what I saw and what I felt. And people weren't willing to let it go. And to me that it happens all the time in every walk of life. It's just like, okay, this dude did this. Only certain people are able to get beyond that, and some people don't recover.
Well, what I think, why I think that happens, one of the biggest reasons I think that happens is because, the media is like, I feel like the media is like the spark and the public is like the gasoline, right? So the media, they light this spark and they light it in the direction, obviously, of the gasoline, because we're the public and we're watching the media, and they say, they got people in the media that's what they do. They dig up old stuff and they say, oh, we found this Kevin Hart's gonna be the host of the Oscars, and here come all the Kevin Hart haters trying to find a reason why he shouldn't. It's just like when you're in a political campaign and your whole campaign is to find dirt on your opponent. So now you got a bunch of people that can be happy that you're succeeding. They don't want to see you hosting the Oscars. So they got a team that's going to go out and find a reason why you shouldn't be the host, or a reason why you got to do X, Y, and Z to satisfy, everyone for you being the host. So now they go out and they find these things that's wrong with you, right? And these things could be apologized for. These things could be 10, 15 years old. But if the media lights that spark, hey, 15 years ago, he said something that was homophobic. And then, boom, they throw that spark into the gasoline, and then, woof, it just catches fire. And people start running with it. But see, that's because of the general public. They're not smart enough to see what's going on, or they don't want to see what's going on. And then, of course, you got a lot of people that's in the gay community or the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And what they do, obviously, they're sparking an outrage in that community. They knew what they were doing. They were sparking an outrage in that community. They ran with it because you have some people that didn't know, that never heard of that, and then you have some people that did. And then they just ran with it. Instead of them saying that, hey, I don't know if they got a spokesman or I don't know how it works, but instead of somebody coming out saying, hey, we already knew about that, you already apologized, let's move forward. No, you got a lot of people that's just going to fuel that fire. And that's going to say, no, that was wrong, and he shouldn't get the hose, or he needs to apologize again. And they're going to make you basically keep paying for the crimes you already did your time for. You know what I mean? And I think that the media is behind that. And I don't think the media is acting alone. It could be somebody that's, telling these people in the media to do, because these people in the media have a lot of power. They're not just acting on their free will. They don't get to go on TV and just say what they want to say. It's someone that approves or disapproves of them saying what they want to say. It's just like when people were going after Gail for bringing the whole rape thing up with Kobe, and Gail was coming back saying, hey, these were questions that were given to me to ask. These are not my personal questions. But people didn't care. People was destroying Gail. And then people came back and defended Gail because they were saying, you guys need to understand that she's just doing her job. Somebody told her to ask these questions. These were not her personal thoughts. But she still agreed to it. But, there's different types. There's different sides of the spectrum there. Which I think, and it's very unfortunate that a lot of people feed into it. And it's very unfortunate that we can never collectively come together as a whole and decide, hey, we're not going to trip on that. We're not going to worry about that because we know they got bosses, or we know that this person's already did the time for that, and we're going to just leave it alone because the media is just going to keep throwing flames on it, especially if they know people are talking and people are tweeting about it, and they know it's getting buzz and they're getting ratings. So you got one media outlet, which could be TMZ. You got US Today. You got CNN. You got all these media outlets jumping on this bandwagon because it's basically providing ratings and it's basically, bringing the money. Yeah. They just want to get people to talk. They don't care if they diminish your career or they diminish an opportunity for you. For them, it equals dollars because people are talking about it, and that's very unfortunate. But that's just the way the world works, at least in America.
And that's the issue that I think that we come across, or it's just like people want you to bend the knee, and they want you to come. Okay, I have a platform. Social media is giving them a platform. We have a platform here with this podcast, and we're not the only ones that can sit here and do a podcast. It's not something that is so unattainable. Anybody can just open a computer and get a mic and start talking. So everybody has a platform to speak and talk, and it's just, what are you going to do with that platform? Are you going to ridicule people? What is it what is the goal for this? Like, why do you feel this way, and why can't you let certain things go, or why aren't you? And it's just like you're wanting to fuel a fire, and you want to incite, and you want to bring people down, and you want to uplift certain people that you like. What if I don't like this person? You know what I mean? And that kind of thing is really, and it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with that, but you can't make it to the point where you have an opinion, and certain people might feel that way. It's still, you shouldn't have this vitriol to really attack one person just because of something that was done and that has been apologized for a long time. Now, I could be wrong, in that sentiment. Things have been done to me, and I have had to either forgive or forget and move on with my life. And you have to do that. To me, that's the best way to do it, because if you're holding on to certain types of anger and certain types of feelings that aren't productive, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, it's consuming you.
Exactly. It's consuming you, and it's keeping you from being prosperous and overcoming. Now, you use that to motivate you to do better or to go above. And to me, that's the best way to do it. You don't just hold on to it and be like, oh, I hate this person. I want to see him, I can't stand him, and I'm gonna dedicate my life to getting this person and blah, 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 blah. We talked about that last episode. You see what happened to Joe Exotic. He went too far in trying to get this person because of his hate. And, it consumed him. And that's what happens. That's what happens. And it's countless.
Be very careful with things like that, because things can consume you subconsciously. You're not even aware of it.
And exactly. And it's consumed, and you get consumed, and then you just lose focus, and you lose yourself. You lose yourself. As always, you got to be true to yourself when you are in these kind of situations, and when you're thinking about things. And I always try to think about the golden rule: do unto others as you have them do unto you. And just simple etiquette. Simple way of life. Nothing too crazy, nothing fancy. You know what I mean? But and you can. I found that I get more respect that way, and I get more, I get further along in life that way. Because there was a period of time when I did hold a lot of anger and a lot of resentment towards things, and I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, either you let it go, or you're going to just go down with them or I mean, you're gonna be just like them and not be able to move forward. Do better. Be better.
Yeah, I've been through that same thing. So, yeah, I think that people have a lot to learn in that sense. Obviously you're gonna have people that's never gonna learn. But I feel like people just need to get a hold of themselves. But I feel like these celebrities, they also need to have a better PR team because, and I got a PR team. A part of their responsibilities is going to go, I'm going to be like, hey, go into my social media before I even got famous and get rid of all that crap. Anything that's controversial. Matter of fact, you can delete all of it. I don't care what you do. But my PR team is like damage control. I know they get paid, to help you with your image and make sure you don't go on there and act all crazy and egotistical. But I feel like, with any celebrity, anybody that has a voice and that can reach the masses, they're going to be people that are going to dig up old things, and, nothing's easier to dig up than an old, post on social media. That's pretty much the easiest thing that's old to dig up. Exactly. So I feel like, it's a PR responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're going to have that kind of if you're going to be in social media, because people do all kind of dumb stuff with social media, and I don't have anything against it. It's not really my thing, but you got to be careful with it, and it's just like anything. If you're going to be in the public eye, just be careful of what you say. You're talking about everybody. I mean, we kind of got into it a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out where I was going with this. But when you talk about individuals now, and everybody has a brand. You know what I mean? You have to have a brand. Now, what is your brand? What is it that you stand for? And once you define your brand, and it's another way to put you in a category. And that's always bothered me. And I get it. You are, certain brands. The NBA, we bring you the best basketball player. That's a brand. We can bring you the best basketball in the world. Okay, great. The NFL, the same thing. They have a specific brand. When you try to brand people, you're putting them in a category. You're not giving them they're no longer a human. They're an entity, and it's not. And entities usually, I mean, they can grow and they evolve into certain things, but it takes a while for people to catch up because they're used to it being here and it's not there anymore. And now you got to find it somewhere else. And you might not be able to go with that brand because of where you are in your life. And
you got to go around a lot of legalities.
You know what I mean? And it's like one of these things where, oh man, you think this way, like we talked about, bringing it back to the top 5. Oh man, I didn't know that you thought that Magic Johnson should be number 5, dude. Damn, like that's crazy. I can't believe it. I've known you for 30 years. Like really? All right, man. I think this is the last time we're gonna be talking. That kind of, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, or it's like it's not that serious. It's not that serious. It's like people, fighting over sports teams. What are you fighting over there for? They're not going to defend your honor. They're not going to come get you out of jail. They're not going to pay your hospital bills.
They got killed at the Dodgers game, over fan rivalry. It just turns into fan rivalry, and then it turns into something that people feel like, oh, it's personal, and now I gotta, prove how strong I am, and egos collide.
And it's egos and alcohol always is a problem. Egos, alcohol, and women, always a problem. There's no women here. I'm not saying anything derogatory. I was raised by 2 women. There's nothing like that. I'm just stating how I feel. It's those three things will cause a lot of different conflicts that are unnecessary. But getting back to it, you do something out of emotions. You send a tweet out in emotions. You send a tweet out, or you send a Facebook post, or you say something in an interview, years ago that might be how you felt at the time. You might be having a bad day, and it gets blown out of proportion. And now you got to live with that. You're not perfect. People aren't perfect. They're going to make mistakes, and people love when they make mistakes because they want perfection. They want to see like, Tom Brady is so perfect and blah 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 blah. Now he has a whole city that can't stand him because he went somewhere else because he followed what he wanted to do was right for him and his family. Okay. It is what it is. LeBron James had his jersey burnt because he left to go to.
My God.
You know what I mean? All right, I get it. I understand. And to bring it to bring it back to something else, I remember I was around the whole Kobe thing. There was an actress on a show that I like to watch. I'll give it a plug. It's the Westworld. It's a good show. She has something negative to say about Kobe, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to watch Westworld anymore. But, I relented because she has a right to her opinion, and I don't want to be that person to be like, oh, now I gotta hate you and all this stuff. I might not care for her as a person, but if she acts, that's fine, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And I might change my opinion on that later, but it's my right to do that. I can do that if I want to. But you have to, and it's a difference between being wishy-washy and evolving or just coming up, knowing more facts behind certain things. Because you can say something in the moment and without having the facts. But once you learn more, you're like, okay, now you can kind of soften your stance, or you can go more. You can dive deeper into where you were at and further, solidify what you were saying. And it's one of those things. But you got to have the right to do that. You can't just be like, oh, well, you said this before, now you're saying this, and it was an old song. He said, "Stand up for something, or you fall for anything."
Yeah, for sure. I've always agreed with that.
So it's I just saw this message. Anyway, sorry, that was unprofessional. I just looked at my phone. I shouldn't be doing that. Fumble. It is messing up stuff. I mean, this is keeping it real. I mean, this is two dudes talking, and we're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm not perfect, so I don't even profess to be that. So what I'm gonna do now? So I was watching this. I was watching this movie on Netflix last night. It was called Bad Rap. And bad rap. It was interesting. It was something I didn't think. I had no idea what it was. It just came up on my recommend and started playing, and I was like, all right, whatever. And it was about Asian rappers. And I was like,
that's not really familiar for some reason.
And I was like, okay, cool. And it was all about how they don't want to be, they just want to be rappers. Just like, do you have to say Asian rapper every time? Do you have to say, this is the Korean rapper, this is blah, blah, blah. Do you have to, this is a white basketball player? No, you're a basketball player. You know what I mean? So I was watching that, and it was like they kind of talked about some of the appropriation and stuff like that of taking things. And then I thought back to some old school rapping that was really just bad rap, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it because it is, I mean, awful. And then the prefix it is in the 80s. So okay, and I'm gonna play this song, and I want you to hear this, and then we'll go over it. It's not my song, so I don't want to be like, oh, it's a AWA event from from '86, I think. So I'm gonna play the video. It's on YouTube. It's not my stuff, so I don't want to be like, oh, I'm trying to say it's mine. All right, I'm gonna play it now. Can you hear it?
This is Ken Resnick, and I'm here to say we've got the greatest wrestlers in the AWA. But you're not here to listen to me mumble. Let's fill you in on the Wrestle Rock Rumble. Get on!
Wrestle Rock, be there.
We're the Midnight Rockers, Sean and Marty. We love to wrestle, and we love to party. You don't have to worry, we're not gonna fumble, because we'll be shaking through the Wrestle Rock Rumble. Out!
It gets worse.
I'm the shit, and that's not funny. I got my army a lots of money. If Ganyan my way, I make him tumble. He be sorry, I did the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Wrestle Rock, be there.
I'm Jerry Blackwell, and I want to ski. I want to get my hands on that pencil neck geek as I watch the EDF Bumble. I'm gonna make my splash in the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
What the fuck is this?
You, me, and Wrestle Rock.
I'm Greg Gagne, and I'm in a rave. I want Brody, and I want him in a cage. A high-flying drop kick will make him see double. I grind him up at the Wrestle Rock Rumble. Woo!
Wrestle Rock.
I'm Kurt Hennig.
And Big Scott Hall. As tag team champs, we'll take on them all.
So bring on the long riders, those dirtball dumbos.
We'll smear those bushes, do the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
It's almost over. It seems like it's been going on for like 15 minutes.
1,000 years.
Dude.
This is Nick Bockwinkel, and I've got a passion. I'll get the title back from the humanoid Hanson. I've got the brains, and I'm not humble. I'll take the belt back and do the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Wrestle Rock, April 20th, at the Dome.
Wrestle Rock, 86, be there.
What the fuck did you find this shit? Sound like some fucking Edwin Room Floor Last Dragon bullshit.
Done slapping around Scott in the suit. Gonna beat the ugly bartender into a bundle and laugh all the way doing Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Okay, there's two more rappers, and I'm stopping
This
it.
game Doc got a mouth that won't quit, but I'm Scott McGee want to smack a little shit. And when I'm through, you won't be able to mumble. I'll be left alone doing the Wrestle Rock Rumble. Yeah!
Okay, all on coke.
Just one last word from the former champ, but give a lot of thought to one more turn. There's some old scores that still give me trouble, and I'm starting to get the urge to do the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Motherfucker, read the script.
What the? Exactly. He was reading a script, and okay, he was 60 years old. The only dude that was really good, and mind you, okay, obviously they were all offbeat except for a couple, and the one that was the best was at the time 52 years old.
Oh my god. Motherfucker dead and gone by now.
It is okay. So I don't know. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it like I said,
That's why.
It was a lot of cocaine. I'm pretty sure it was a copious amount of
the first wave of the 80s. That was there.
It was a copious amount of cocaine that was going on, and I
was at Venice Beach with a Casio recorder.
Oh, so bad. But they did that based off. Remember the Super Bowl Shuffle?
Right.
The Bears. That was basically their version of doing that because there was hip hop was back then. you know, the big thing because it just started. So everybody jumped on the bandwagon, but you know, nobody giving them shit about him being off beat. I mean, because a couple of them still alive, and I'm like, I mean,
that was not cool. That's just not what we do. My dad or my uncle, like,
it was so bad.
They was doing bad. I can just picture them with like looking like AC Slater daddies. Like I can just picture that. like I'm not messing with none of them dudes. Like thick ass mustaches, fat ass mullets, with the chains on, with the taco meat on their chest.
Oh man!
Top with the hammer pants.
Oh man! It was bad.
It sounds like some Saved by the Bell rap. Zach.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah. That's another thing.
Sounds like some Saved by the Bell rap. Because I remember they used to rap on Saved by the Bell, and it sounded just like that, if not worse.
It was terrible. Now, if anybody want to check this out, it's called the Wrestle Rock Rumble. I don't know why you would want to check it out, but if you want to see the video,
I don't even know why you would fix your fingers to type that shit.
Because the video is atrocious. It is bad, and it is
comical.
It is hilarious. So, I mean, I just wanted to get that in. Like I said, oh God. Anyway, it's kind of a palate cleanser for everything. Just so the next thing I wanted to bring in, I have Rory's going to come on, and our No Shame, big smoke dog, whatever we call it, whatever he wants to go by.
Oh.
He's gonna come on here and he's gonna read a story. So I'm gonna try to get this connected because again, for some reason, we could not get it all set up properly. You know, I'll let everybody know what's going on behind. I'm not ashamed. I'm not a super pro at doing this. Apparently, getting this stuff together. But we're gonna do this. So hold on, let me get him on. We got No Shame in the building. He was helping us on the boards last time, but today I wanted to bring him on, and we wanted to bring him on to read a piece of his stories because he's quite talented with his stories, and we're also working on another project there we'll talk about later. But just hit him a little bit with the story, a little piece of the story. Don't give him the full story, just a little bit.
You know what, man? Yeah, let's go ahead and get that going.
Yeah, for sure. And just read the title of it, and then just bless us with this.
Oh, you want that blessing, homie?
Oh, you know I do.
You want that blessing? Then take your ass to church, homie. All right. One of them joints. Construction on Lime Street. On Lime Street. Construction on Lime Street.
All right.
Here we go. Bing bong was the annoying sound that alerted the Hindu at the cash register as I entered one of the city's local liquor store. I used my peripheral as he kept all three eyes glued on my black ass. I walked towards the back of the store where they refrigerated most liquid beverages. Let me see. What the fuck do I want from this piece? I thought to myself. I started with the OJ and worked my way across the chilled temper glass. I skipped over the smoothie fruit juices and contemplated about the energy drinks. Nothing seemed to embrace my attention. Then I arrived at the carbonated soft drinks. My eyes widened when I focused on the 20 ounce of Coca-Cola. I'm not a fan of Coke, definitely not my first choice, but something inside my head seemed to trigger. Could it be those bullshit commercial ads that welcome all niggas to support their cause? Whatever it was, I could give a shit, because one thought entered my head. A fifth of Crown. I opened the cooler door, grabbed the Coke, and flung the door closed. Bing bong! The door sounded. I turned and looked as a young Negro entered, looking a little suspicious. I looked beyond the little nigga and out to the storefront. There I observed two boys, one white and the other Hispanic, outside pacing and waiting. What the fuck? I thought to myself. I pretended not to see anything and continued browsing. I watched the little nigga stop at the candy aisle. He tucked both pants legs into his shoes, tight and snug. He looked around. Don't you do it, you little fucker, I spoke within. The boy grabbed a handful of Big League Chew bubble gum and began to hide it away into his pockets. He then went over to the cooler. Next, he stopped at the beer section. He looked around once again. He opened the door, grabbed the 40, and placed it inside his pants until the bottle slid down to the bottom of his tucked pants leg. Once the bottle slid down his shoe, he grabbed another 40 and did the same on the empty pants leg. You stupid asshole, I said to myself, shaking my head. Through the reflection of the cooler glass, I could see the Hindu's expression become uneasy, angry, and afraid as he reached his hand under the store counter, and that's all a nigga need. I walked over to little dumb shit. What the fuck you think you doing? I said, starting him. Fuck you. Don't worry about it, he replied. Man, who the fuck you talking to, little nigga? You, bitch. What the fuck you gonna do about it? I quickly reached behind his watermelon head and drove his face into a cooler glass as his nose collided against the thick pane. This sharp impact caused his nose to leak of his own blood. He swung at me with his right. As I countered it with a swift headbutt, I could hear the bones in his hand break. Yo. His friends outside scattered and left the little nigga behind. Shut your ass up. Brought that shit upon yourself. What's going on? I will call the police, the Hindu questioned as he pulled a metallic bat from under the counter. It's cool, nigga. I got this shit. Just chill out and be easy, my nigga. I have everything under control. Now look what you did. Now every time I come in this bitch, he gonna be looking at us. Punk asses like you make it hard to be black. Do you know what you did? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we always have to give into these fucking stereotypes? Do you know how hard it is to be black, little nigga? Of course you do. But here you are, I told him. You broke my nose, the boy said as he started to cry. You fucking better not cry, you little faggot. The only misery in our lives is the misery we create. So shut the fuck up before I let my man over there bash your fucking brains in, I replied. He stopped sobbing, but his eyes remained filled with tears. Where's your father, I asked. He don't come around, he sadly replied. Well, today I'm gonna be your dad, but only for a moment, and then you're back on your own. If I see you in the store trying to steal or make the black human race look bad, I will put you out your fucking misery. Lastly, know that you can achieve anything in this world, if you want to work for it. The only person that can hold you back is you. Do you understand? Yes, sir, he answered as blood leaped down upon his shirt. Good. Now take that shit out your pants and apologize to the clerk, I commanded. The boy walked over to the counter. I'm sorry for stealing, he said, still in pain. Next time you fuck ass, I will bash you. He understands. He don't need your ad lib, sir. Now go pick some snacks and shit, I told the boy. He looked at me puzzled and a little confused, as well did the store clerk. I said, go pick some shit out, I said as I raised my voice. The boy hurried over and picked out some munchies. Get something to drink too, not no fucking alcohol either. Let me get a fifth of that Crown Royal, 2 blueberry swishers, and oh shit, when did you get the vanilla backwoods? I said, amazed. They're old stock. I'm trying to get rid of them. I don't think they make them anymore, he said. Well, give me a pack. No, make it 2 because I can't find them anywhere, I said. The boy came to the counter with his snacks and appropriate beverage and placed them onto the countertop. Can you ring that shit up too in a separate bag, please? I asked as the clerk punched in his number on his old-ass cash register. Your total comes to $59.65, the clerk said. Damn, what the fuck? I questioned. It's not cheap, my friend. We got to charge tax, he replied as he bagged everything. That's right, fucking CRV, I said with a dumbfounded realization. I grabbed my bag from the counter And so did the boy. As we both exited the liquor store, I could see a huge smile that seemed to grow from the clerk's lip, while his right hand waved us goodbye, thank you, and come again. I walked to my car and pulled my keys from my pocket and hit the unlock function on it. Just as I was to open the door, the little Negro spoke. Thanks for the snacks. It's Shane. My name is Shane, and don't sweat it. I know I can be sometime. A little advice, I said, inquiring. Davy, that's what my mom named me. My advice to you is beware of those who run when you're in a jam that you call friends. You understand? Yes, sir. Good. I come to this motherfucker often, so next time we meet, I want to see a report card with A's and B's, nothing else. And if you succeed, I'll shoot you some green stacks. Is that clear? Crystal. Good. Now go and get the fuck out of here. Davey turned and began to run home, but stopped mid in his tracks. Why the fuck do you care? Because I'm fucking tired of you dumbass niggas walking around here like you grown men. The responsibility is up to me or any black man in this godforsaken world to intervene when ignorance creeps with our youth. The black man is in danger of becoming extinct. Did you know that? When I'm dead, who's going to inform us? Who's going to stand up for us? Who's going to steer us to a path where we continue to evolve as black men? I'm telling you this because you have no male guidance. And it is well on your way to be locked away like our fallen brothers. Because I had to get involved, you would do everything in your power to become the best, Davey. And if you don't happen to go back to your old ways, I will personally put you out your misery. In layman's term, I will fucking kill you. That's my reason. Is that cool, little Negro? He smiled and started back to his original destination down the block with his snacks in one arm and his broke hand at his side flapping against his thigh. I opened up my car door and got in. I placed my bags of treats onto the passenger side. I then remembered the vanilla backwood as a wild surge of excitement passed through my existence. I dove into the bag and pulled them out. When the rustic hand rolled cigar pack was in my grasp, my smile became so large that my cheeks began to fold on top of my eyelids that left me in a faint darkness that I enjoyed. When I opened my eyes, I tore open the cigar pack. It was everything I thought my decayed brain cells could conjure up. The aroma of tobacco and vanilla. Dougie. Hold on. Yeah, in a little bit. Close my door. Sorry about that. That was a little intermission. Little man coming in, busting in. All right, here we go. The aroma of tobacco and vanilla dug around my senses in a wondrous rhythm. His temple seemed to purge all my most fondest and happiest memories into an involuntary movement as my body bobbed and swayed. I took out one of the cigar and ran across my nostrils. I inhaled again. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, I said aloud. I opened my glove compartment and pulled out a box cutter. I then extracted a thin blade and ran it across the vanilla cigar and somehow made a perfect symmetrical incision. I opened the car side door and dumped the tobacco out onto the ground. I lifted up the car armrest and revealed another compartment and pulled out an aspirin container packed with some bomb-ass weed. Big Bud. I searched the car for something sturdy to break the weed on. I then realized a binder of writing paper I had kept just in case the creative process sprung from my fingertips and broke. Once the weed was broken up, I placed the empty cigar paper onto the binder as I began to spread the weed evenly inside. I placed the blunt up to my mouth and used my tongue to seal in its contents. I pulled a lighter from the cup holder. I ignited the lighter and massaged the man-made flame along the previous incisions that made the blunt concrete. I placed the work of art into the glove box. I inserted my key into the ignition and started up my car. I then put it in reverse and drove out from the liquor store parking lot and made a right onto Lime Street. The late afternoon sun stretched out its rays, and the sun's toxic solar beams launched a hellish heat wave that somehow baked the inhabitants of Lime Street into a decayed, roasting state. As I drove down Lime Street, traffic that seemed to flow became congested as I passed up a red-orange construction sign that read "Construction ahead. Reduce speed. Expect delays." While I reduced my speed, I began to notice the hot vapor film that hovered the construction area where the crewmen worked slowly. My eyes scanned ahead and noticed the brake lights on the cars afar showing a bright red, for they had come to a complete stop. When this realization reached my shitty brain, I came to a complete stop as well. I looked to my right and saw the crewmen taking a break. All of them. What the fuck? Ain't this about a bitch, I said, disappointed. While sitting there on Lime Street, I felt my skin melt and peel at the same time. The infernal atmosphere made it hard to breathe and take oxygen in. I turned on the AC and rolled up my windows for a mild moment. The cool air appeased my sweaty stature, but somehow the sun was able to enforce its kindling threshold. There in my car, I sat miserable, without a solution, just a bag of munchies, a bottle of Coke, and then the shit finally clicked. I opened the glove compartment. As I placed it into my mouth, I reached for my lighter and tried to light it. I tried 3 times to light the blunt before I realized the AC was on, and so I turned it off. And when I turned off the air, I rolled down the window. I stuck my head out to catch the hotness and did not notice an invisible beam that angled upon my blunt's tip. Within seconds, the blunt burst into a small flicker and lit itself. It was a wondrous sight. As I almost dropped the blunt from my mouth, I patted myself down. There was no injuries to report. And that's just a little something, you know, a little wordy, but that's just what I do. Run my mouth too much. Boom. Shameless, baby.
Man.
Wow.
Man. I'm talking about...
Wow.
Man.
Bro, I never knew you had that talent, dog. That was dope.
Thanks. Thanks,
you wrote all of that?
Yeah, no, I did.
Dog.
There's more. That's just half of it. There's other stuff.
That reminded me of my Audible, because I be listening to Audible because I have like audiobooks. Like, that reminded me of that. And normally the way I decide whether I'm gonna do listen to an Audible or not is like, obviously, if the person has energy in their voice or whatever, because some people's tone of voice is like very boring to put you to sleep,
right?
Regardless of what they're saying, but the way you read it and the energy you had behind it, it kept me intrigued.
Okay, cool, good look.
Not only that, but it was a good, and it was obviously a heartfelt story for a black guy to be hearing that. You know what I'm saying? So, dog, that was dope, dog. I like that a lot. Like you should do something with that.
Cool. Good looking.
I mean, we like I said, this is a snippet of what No Shame has to offer, and be on the lookout for on 72 Entertainment Group, 72entgroup.com, and we'll give some more information about how you can get that and more from No Shame, because I mean, he has a lot more, and I don't want to speak for you, but when I heard it, I was taken aback, and I was like, dude, this I have to find a way to get this out there so people can hear it, because it's
that's
good
dope,
stuff.
dog. That was hella dope. Like, it kept my attention the whole time. Like, I was on the edge of it felt like a movie. I was like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, that's what's up. Good looking.
And it was like the way you read it. Like, if you would have read it in a different tone or a different energy, it would have been different. But whatever you did, whatever you did at that point, it kept me like, damn, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, and that's exactly how you want your audience. Like, that's perfect.
Right. No, I feel you. I smell you.
I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll be doing a little something.
Saying you had me rolling in the beginning. I was laughing my ass off. But then it got real. I was like, oh shit, it's getting real.
Yeah, it is. I be trying to come with some realism.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about life. There's real moments, but it's stuff that you laugh at too. Dang, this shit just happened.
shit just got real.
Yeah.
And that's
I feel
what we
that.
do. That's exactly what we do. I mean, and you know, Rory is an Oxman, and he knows what's up, and he knows what we about, and that's just what we do, man. We're out there being real and letting people know what it's like, and to make things, do things the right way, and bring positivity to not just our race, but just the humanity. You know what I mean? And I think I think it starts with us, though. I really do. It really does.
I mean, but you know how my stuff is. My stuff tends to be a little graphic and real,
Oh man, I heard some graphic stuff, man. I can't wait till that comes out, because that's oh my god. But
let me ask you a question. Like who's one of your favorite authors?
Man, I got a gang. Of course, Edgar Allan.
Right.
Edgar Allan Poe. That's my boy. Langston Hughes is dope for sure. It's
like when I hear that, I think of these names. You know what I mean? That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. Charles Bukowski. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like a variety of everything, man. I like dope people that talk about dope shit.
Right.
I don't know if you oh man, he got a show on Sirius, man. Rude Jude. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah.
But I got his 2 books, and his books they go hard. They dope. It's just he just telling real shit, and it's like, I'm all about that, like that proper English, and like like in-depth stuff. But sometimes, I just want the story grawl, I can't forget what's his name? Oh damn. Iceberg Slim. He's hard too. So I just like
influence from everywhere, man. That's cool. That's the best part about it, is you investing your time and learning about not just one particular thing, but just all aspects, all walks of life, and that's what it's about, man. Keeping your mind open.
Man, them stories need to be heard, bro.
Oh, cool.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in a manner where we could hold our attention, and it could resonate, and it could reach a lot of people. Like, that's perfect.
Cool, man. Thanks. Yeah. Cool. I'm definitely gonna keep trotting and jotting. I got a gang of other stuff. Marlon heard a few.
Okay.
We talking about vaginas and all that, man.
Oh well, all men do.
Yeah, all I mean, you have to, but like just like the realness, man. Like when you a kid. Oh, I'm going out.
No. I was gonna say your point of view is important, because everybody got their own point of view when it comes to that subject.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's the ticket. Your point of view is different. Everybody's point of view is different, but your point of view, it like when you hear it, you like, damn, it's a different view.
Yeah.
And so like it's like fresh, it's new, and like everybody's point of view is valid. Some people gonna feel it and some people don't. Most people don't feel my point of view just because sometimes I'm just a little coarse. But
you got to be yourself, bro, because I'm 100% positive there's a lot of people that's probably gonna feel it when it really start getting out there. Like, there's a lot of people that's gonna feel that.
Oh, definitely.
And that's why I like to have these discussions, because I respect perspectives. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to get stuck in a world in my own box, in my own perspective. I want to hear, like, what I'm saying? I'm interested in hearing, because I just have an open mind like that. I'm just interested in hearing different perspectives when it comes to the same subjets, because it helps me broaden my perspective.
That's how you grow. So, that's how you evolve.
No, I feel you, because I'm the same way too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's just, I feel that's what just really wrong with the world. Everybody's like prioritizing themselves, which, there's nothing wrong with it, but when you kind of like, you forget about the next person to you. It ain't like you have to care, but it's like Why not?
Right.
Maybe I could get a gem from this person or find something out.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, when you interact with people, man, you find out stuff, jobs, people who to talk to. They were like, oh no, you go to this person and they'll set you up right. And you like, damn, had I not had a conversation with this person, I've just been that regular ass nigga. You know?
Right. Yeah, so it's important that we do that networking and like we get those perspectives and we don't be closed minded thinking that our opinion is the only opinion that matters.
Exactly.
Like, you know, so that's why I like to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, and everybody think, people supposed to feel it. The part of it is like a lot of people not gonna feel it. A lot of people gonna think it's trash and filth. And they have a right to that opinion. People are just so, I don't know, man. People be acting like hoe cakes, man. Like niggas can't have their opinion. Like
you can't focus on those though.
Yeah,
everybody gonna have everybody gonna have the opinion. It's gonna be your fans. It's gonna be your critics. You're not doing it for your critics. You're doing it for the fans and the people that appreciate it and the people that feel it and the people that it resonates with.
Exactly, man. Because you know what's crazy, man? It was something. It was I don't know what it was. I think it was something about chicken soup. Somebody that came over my house or whatnot, and whatever the chicken soup was on the conversation, he said, I don't mess with it. I don't fuck with chicken soup. This shit is garbage. And the other person was like, chicken soup is delicious. What? You don't like chicken soup? And the other person was like, you ain't never had my chicken soup. Then you go in that conversation, you ain't had it cooked before. And it's like, man, and I'm in my head like, no, I'm pretty sure the nigga tries chicken soup more than once, man. He ain't fucking with it. It's like fuck chicken soup, like, okay, I ain't gotta like it.
Yeah,
if you like it, cool.
Yeah.
But that's where we at. It's like you gotta like it or else.
Yeah, that's just not cool. Like everybody should be entitled to their own opinion. And matter of fact, we was talking about that earlier. Like me and Martin, like everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And just because your opinion differs, it don't mean you got to take it there.
Yeah. No, you absolutely right. Hey, hold on, my the wifey want to talk to me for a second. Give me a minute.
What do you think?
Well, people, there you have it. We have a podcast full of bloopers and a fucking ton of edits that we're probably going to have to do.
I'm not editing shit. I'm just going to put it out just like that. Like,
listen, man, this is the raw, this is the no condom podcast. Raw dog and yes.
I'm not, look, I mean, this is keeping this shit real. Like, look, because if it was live, it'd be all kind of fucked up. Like,
man, they live shit.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, hopefully get to the point where we will do it live and have people come in and have people listening to us live. That would be my goal, and that's what we're trying to do. But right now, we're just hitting with this real stuff that we can and having just really just shooting the shit. This is just two real dudes, two real men talking and talking about certain things and topics, and hopefully you gelling with it, and we can bring you more entertainment and bring you some more Wrestle Rock Rumble. You know what I mean? That's
hey, I don't know about that bullshit. That shit was trash as fuck.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find something. I'm gonna have to find something that's worse next time.
You get any worse, I'm logging off. Like the
fuck. But anyway, so yeah, this is we'll finish up and hopefully when Rory finished getting scolded by his wife, we'll have him back. But in the meantime, you have anything else that you want to go over, Ahmad, or are you good?
I'm good, man. Like I think we did a great job on this one. I appreciate the opportunity. I love the podcast, man. And next time we'll get a little more organized, a little more, get a
little better every time.
Yeah, we still growing, so one day at a time. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us and,
For sure.
trying it off.
For sure. The marathon continues, baby.
TMC. All day long, baby.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All day long. I'll let your boy.